The SM-6 interceptor clears the vertical launch cell at 2,400 miles per hour. Seconds later, a proximity fuse triggers. A dense cloud of tungsten shrapnel expands, instantly shredding a fiberglass target 3 meters away. But any celebration in the Combat Information Center lasts exactly 1 second. That radar screen isn't clearing, it's rapidly filling up. One single intercept means nothing, with 999 more right behind it. Enemy forces are leading with their absolute cheapest tech. We're tracking 1,000 drones, each under $20,000, screaming across the water. Tactically, a single unit is a joke. But swarmed together, they form a physical wall of static built to blind the most advanced naval fleet on Earth. Our Aegis combat system tracks hundreds of targets. The processors are redlining at maximum capacity, yet the horizon remains pitch black with incoming hostile shapes. Then we take a hit. A single incoming drone, no larger than a kitchen table, manages to slip through our defensive perimeter. It slams directly into the Spy-1 radar array, right on the bridge of a lead American destroyer. The physical impact is minor, a quick pop of fire and tangled plastic, but the warship's primary radar face is completely cracked. This billion-dollar warship is now half-blind inside an active kill zone. And as the destroyer reels from that radar hit, something else detaches from the seabed. Hidden beneath that massive drone swarm, adversary forces have deployed Ghadir-class mini-subs. They have been sitting silently on the Gulf floor for weeks, just waiting for our carrier strike group to cross a precise GPS threshold. A high-pitched whine fills our sonar operator headset's torpedo in the water. We immediately fire Mark 54 lightweight torpedoes into the surf. One enemy mini-sub is cracked open like an egg, its hull violently imploding under the crushing pressure of the blast. But that second sub already released its deadly payload. 2 heavyweight torpedoes are now streaking toward the carrier's escorts at 50 miles per hour. Our destroyer commander does not have time to wait for a clean targeting lock. Instead, they quickly launch a spread of Nulka-active decoys. These rockets hover mid-air, perfectly mimicking the massive electronic signature of a U.S. warship. The incoming torpedoes are completely confused. One veers wildly off course, detonating against an empty patch of ocean. That second torpedo gets intercepted mid-run by an anti-torpedo defense system, an explosive slug that strikes the warhead directly. We're trading high-tech precision for low-tech mass-produced violence. As analysts, we see the enemy is rational. They know they will never out-tech the United States military. So instead, they are trying to outspend us in blood and lead. The carrier group doesn't flinch. Instead, the engines of the USS Gerald R. Ford roar to life. The carrier and its escorts steam directly toward the hostile coast. To enemy commanders watching their screens, this maneuver looks like a complete suicide run. They watch our carrier enter the narrowest part of the strait. The water is brutally shallow here, and the shoreline bristles with hidden artillery batteries. Deep beneath the Zagros Mountains, the earth literally begins to shift. Massive hydraulic lifts groan violently under the weight of solid iron. These are the infamous missile cities, a tunnel network carved miles into solid rock, housing 4,000 heavy ballistic missiles. The Fate 110 is their primary workhorse. It's a solid-fuel missile capable of striking targets with surgical scalpel precision from 180 miles away. Their tactical doctrine is simple total saturation dominance. They fully intend to turn the Persian Gulf into a massive graveyard of sinking American steel. They are waiting for our carrier to cross into the dead zone, the point of no return, where those shore batteries hold a 100% strike probability. Time is our second enemy. Under the War Powers Act, the legislative clock sits at day 59, 23 hours, and 45 minutes. These adversary commanders understand American law better than most Americans do. They believe that in 15 minutes, the U.S. military is legally mandated to stop firing. Tehran is already filming their premature victory broadcasts. They think they've won this political war without launching a single heavy missile, but they haven't heard the B-1B Lancer approaching. High above the cloud cover, safely beyond the reach of enemy air defense, our heavy bomber finally opens its internal bays. It isn't loaded with traditional gravity bombs today, it is carrying the Dark Eagle. Let's look at this closely. The Dark Eagle is a long-range hypersonic asset, traveling over 3,800 miles per hour faster than a rifle bullet. It can cover the distance from New York to Washington in under 4 minutes flat. Conventional radar cannot track it because the superheated plasma completely absorbs radio waves, and even if they saw it coming, no interceptor on Earth could catch it. You and I saw that blinded U.S. destroyer take a drone hit earlier. Now, it suddenly broadcasts a massive, completely unencrypted electronic signal. The adversary takes the bait. They power up their primary targeting radars to lock onto our wounded ship and finally finish it off. Here is the tactical twist. That blinded warship is simply a ghost. It's an empty hull, a massive remote-controlled decoy. Our actual crew was evacuated hours ago. In any U.S. military analysis, this is a masterful trap. Activating those kill radars reveals the exact GPS coordinates of the air vents and geological hinges of their underground missile cities. Let's look at the telemetry. The F-35C Lightning II circling above intercepts every signal, mapping that mountain perfectly. Our sensors pinpoint structural faults in the granite. We even identify the exact air intakes feeding oxygen to 4,000 troops buried underground. They effectively just handed us the keys to their front door. The Dark Eagle missiles drop. We aren't targeting the bunker doors. Those are 20-foot-thick reinforced steel, backed by solid concrete. Instead, these hypersonic bolts target the mountain peaks directly. The air literally screams as the Dark Eagles rip into the lower atmosphere. It's a dead vertical kinetic strike at Mach 5. 6 Dark Eagle missiles impact the target simultaneously. The kinetic energy is like a runaway freight train slamming a brick wall, except this wall is 500 feet of solid granite. The mountain simply collapses inward. 500,000 tons of rock shear off the slopes in a massive, choking dust cloud. Every single bunker exit gets buried under a permanent rubble wall. Those 4,000 missiles? Not destroyed. They are still sitting perfectly intact on their launch pads, but they are sealed tight behind 200 feet of shattered earth. Those missile cities just became missile tombs. Enemy commanders can only stare at their monitors as every camera feed goes totally black. They aren't dead, but tactically, they are irrelevant, trapped inside a mountain with zero way out and absolutely no way to fire. But the second that dust settles, a fresh alarm screams inside the carrier's command center. Our U.S. military analysis confirmed the known bunkers collapsed, but a hidden hatch we didn't track is sliding open near Bandar Abbas. A Shahab-3 medium-range missile is rising from the silo. This one is different, though. Orange stripes paint its nose cone. That marks a high-value, potentially non-conventional payload, a desperate, last-ditch effort by the regime. And our B-1B Lancer is out of position. The destroyers are tied up engaging the remaining drone swarm. The Shahab-3 ignites. Its trajectory, the USS Gerald R. Ford. If that missile reaches peak altitude and starts its terminal dive, intercepting it becomes nearly impossible. It would strike the deck with the force of an asteroid. From the carrier deck, Two F-35C Lightnings, two stealth fighters, catapult straight into the sky. They operate like absolute ghosts. Their internal bays snap open, revealing the AIM-120D AMRA-AM. This is a boost phase intercept, the hardest maneuver in aerial warfare. These pilots must strike a rising rocket while it is still moving relatively slow, right before it hits the edge of space. The F-35C pilots lock on using their electro-optical targeting system, tracking the massive heat from the Shahab 3's engine. The missile leaves the rail. It streaks sharply upward, slicing right through the yellow smoke. Our interceptor hits the rocket's fuel tank just as it clears 30,000 feet. A massive secondary explosion ripples across the sky as tons of liquid fuel ignite all at once. That final gasp becomes burning aluminum, falling harmlessly into the sea. The ballistic threat is dead, but they still have one surface card left. Stick with me here. A swarm of Zulfiqar fast attack boats pours from coastal sea caves. These are the mosquitoes of the Gulf. They are 40 feet long, clock 70 miles per hour, and carry deadly COSAR anti-ship missiles. They move in erratic zigzag patterns, making it impossible for the destroyer's 5-inch guns to track them. They are closing the gap fast. 5 miles, 4 miles. They are inside the minimum range of our heavy missiles. From the carrier's hangar deck, 4 MH-60R Seahawk helicopters lift off. They are absolutely bristling with AGM-114 Hellfire missiles. The choppers hover low, using ocean spray to mask their radar signatures. The Hellfire leaves the rail with a soft whoosh. It strikes the lead boat straight in the engine block. The vessel violently disintegrates at 70 miles per hour. Crew and missiles instantly disappear in a spray of salt and fire. The Seahawks carve through that swarm like reapers. In 4 flat minutes, 16 boats become burning wrecks. The mosquitoes are officially swatted. The surface threat is totally extinct. Their offensive arsenal is gone. But tactically, we aren't done yet. The real threat isn't just the missiles. It's the regime's economy that fuels them. While fastboat debris is still falling, the B-1B Lancer fleet unleashes its second wave, AGM-158 JSM, highly advanced stealth cruise missiles. They skim the waves at 550 miles per hour, flying so low they are entirely invisible to shoreline air defense. The target is Carr Island. This is the absolute heart of their oil industry. 80% of their national revenue flows through this one single patch of land. We don't target the workers' quarters. We precision strike the pump stations, and we sever every bridge connecting that island to the mainland. What do you and I take away here? In 120 seconds, their lifeblood is cut. The economy is bleeding out. They have 0 missiles to fire back, and now they have absolutely no money to buy new ones. Let's look at the timeline. Suddenly, every light on the Iranian coast goes dark. It's a precision strike using the miniature air-launched Decoy jammer. For an hour, these small drones loitered over Tehran's air defense grid, mimicking the radar returns of entire heavy bomber wings. Panicked and confused, the hostile operators spent that hour firing S-400 missiles at ghosts. They burned through their entire payload shooting at empty sky. Then, the decoy drone shifts gears straight into jammer mode. Pumping out gigawatts of electronic noise, it absolutely fries the delicate circuits across the enemy's command and control network. In seconds, their entire military is rendered deaf and blind. They are instantly reduced to isolated units, stripped of comms to coordinate and unable to track incoming threats. While the enemy scrambles to reset radios, a stealth Black Hawk helicopter, coated in non-reflective black, drops in to hover inches above the Bushehr reactor's perimeter. Special operations teams hit the dirt, instantly deploying thermal cutting torches and silent drills. These operators ran this exact playbook on a full-scale mock-up in the Nevada desert for 6 months. They slip right past the hostile guards, who are too busy staring blindly at dead monitors. The tactical objective isn't destruction, it's seizure. Deep inside the facility, our team locates the storage casks holding the enriched uranium. The mission is to take that nuclear material off the board permanently. The night's final act isn't a massive missile launch. It's simply the heavy click of a lead-lined container locking shut inside that Blackhawk's hold. The enriched uranium is physically secured and extracted. The nuclear shield they banked on is gone. When the sun finally rises over the Persian Gulf, the battle space transformation is absolute. Their massive drone swarm is just sinking plastic now. Those underground missile cities turned into silent tombs beneath millions of tons of solid rock. Karg Island is a smoking crater. Its oil pumps halted permanently. By day 60, minute 0, the blockade is shattered. The hostile navy is nothing but burning fiberglass. Tactically speaking, the entire geography of the Persian Gulf has been rewritten. The strait is wide open. But as we continue this U.S. military analysis, we need to discuss a Dark Eagle secret nobody mentions. You might assume a weapon needs a massive explosive warhead to be lethal. The Dark Eagle doesn't. In reality, during the strikes that collapsed those mountains, the warhead carried 0 explosives. Its devastating power is generated by sheer kinetic energy. When a mass that dense strikes the Earth at Mach 5 over 3,800 miles per hour, the pure physics trigger a localized earthquake. Just think about the sheer math. A solid block of metal hitting a mountain at terminal velocity delivers the exact same energy as a tactical nuke, but with 0 radiation and absolutely no fallout. The strike that buried 4,000 enemy launchers literally used the Earth itself as the weapon. You and I have to ask, if we can crush a mountain and entomb an entire army without a single explosive, what target is truly out of reach?